Real true, ayy, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. Yo, what's up everyone, this is VCV Sibs and welcome to my video discussing Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a collection of 3 of the greatest platforming games of all time, and all 3 are 3D platforming Mario games. But is this collection not up to snuff when it comes to its peripherals as a collection? That is what we will be discussing today. So this isn't a review like a lot of my kinds of videos whenever I go over a video game that's recently new. This is actually more of an analysis to how the collection was put together and constructed. If I had to review each of these games individually, each of these 3D Mario games would easily have a near perfect score. Overall though, is this Switch collection of these 3 games the best way to play them? That's what we're going to be finding out today, starting off talking about Mario 64 first. Mario 64 honestly needed some more work in this collection. Yes, the HD textures that were implemented were pretty good, and they are nicer than the original version, but this game needed a little more. This game needed a true impactful upgrade, and anyone who says otherwise is truly a Nintendo. And the reason why I say that is because this game is still fun, regardless, even if you were to play it on this collection. But when you see the types of advancements that were implemented in Galaxy and in Sunshine in comparison, you could tell that they put the less work done in Mario 64, which is really odd. From the sides of the screen being blacked out, keeping that 4:3 ratio, to how the top and bottom of the screen are now blacked out by a little bit, which is really odd that they would go this route with this port of the emulation, because it really just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't, because Nintendo could have easily fixed the camera on 64 and made the screen of Mario 64 in full screen instead of the 4:3, which, by the way, people who don't work at Nintendo fix these things on PC through emulation. And guess what? All of these games are actually done through emulation. All of them. Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. Like, Super Mario 64 will always be a timeless classic that I will always love, and even playing it in this collection is a ton of fun. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. Like, it's a timeless classic that got me into gaming. It's the main reason why I am a gamer, but this port has some issues. Mario 64 specifically, out of the collection. I was having tons of issues in my playthrough. From stars disappearing even after collecting 100 gold coins, to having to visibly see Super Mario turn into a concave polygonal Mario even at up close to the camera, to literally glitching out on numerous occasions as the game tries to figure out where your character is supposed to be jumping to and where they're supposed to land compared to what the game truly decides for you. It's really odd, because in my version of Mario 64 on my N64, I never had these kinds of issues. I've never had them at all. So it's really odd that this new version of the game emulated for Switch is like this. It's very disappointing. Next up is Mario Sunshine. And to be honest, I really didn't have much issues with Mario Sunshine, and it still plays great. From the movement to the agile platforming combined with FLUDD to help keep the gameplay just as fulfilling as it is enjoyable and great to play. Like it was for me back in the day when I used to play this game all the time on my GameCube. I still have my original Black Label copy, which is so dope. And there can be some issues with, like, that I've seen people complain about the inverted controls with FLUDD being taken away, and how there's just no way to implement them that way. And to me, the inverted controls isn't the hugest big deal for me. It still plays controllably well when it comes to using FLUDD. As long as you use the R button and then the analog stick, you'll be able to aim FLUDD just fine. It's not a big deal. It's really not. But there are some moments in this game that there are severe drops in frames, which I never experienced in the GameCube version. Drops in frames mostly happen whenever you go into menus inside the game Mario Sunshine, like the main menu, or going to the map layout, to the Shine Sprite layout. There's always at least a few frames dropped, bare minimum 5 frames dropped. Like, it happens every time, but overall, it is a super fun experience regardless. Now, Super Mario Galaxy is a really great game, and just like Mario 64 and Sunshine, Galaxy does have some major flaws, like how I mentioned the inverted controls. That's considered a major flaw for Sunshine. Mario 64, that major flaw that it has is still being 4x3 and now having those black bars top to bottom. And then, of course, a few other things mentioned about 64 that I experienced. But in Galaxy, there really isn't as many flaws, but the flaws that I see are my personal flaws, because I have a few friends who have talked about these flaws too, and they don't see a problem with them, but I personally want to mention them. One of the cons I want to mention is how you can't freely move the camera when you're on planets, and that's because back in the day you would have to use the motion controls to move the camera, and it really sucks. Not like, you have the right analog stick. Why can't you use it to move the camera while you're on a planet? It just makes no sense. And then there's the issues where you have to use motion controls, but with the Pro Controller for the cursor. So like the cursor that's on screen when you're playing in docked mode, you use it to collect star bits and you use it to shoot star bits. Now, imagine trying to do that on handheld mode. Oh boy, you better hope you're an octopus or have a couple extra arms, because fuck, you're gonna need more hands to play Galaxy in handheld mode. You literally need one hand on your left analog stick to move your character Mario. You need to use the right analog stick to maneuver the camera whenever you do want to use it. And then, like, you have to use another hand to collect star bits while you're moving. Like, I have a few friends that said that they didn't have an issue with this, but for me personally, it's a huge flaw playing in handheld, and it sucks because it looks great in handheld mode and it looks great in docked mode. Sunshine and Galaxy both look beautiful. They really do. The HD textures much benefited those two games more so than Mario 64. And literally, when it comes to Galaxy and using the touchscreen, I really feel like they didn't have to do that. Hell, you even have to use the touchscreen for the menus of the game. Even in docked or handheld mode, you have to use the cursor and or the touchscreen, meaning you can't use the analog sticks, which are already there. Why can't you just use the analog sticks for menus and stuff in Galaxy? And supposedly what I've heard is these emulated versions are actually based on the 1.0 original versions of these games from back in the day in Japan. So that's probably why there's a lot of these kinds of issues that I've never seen before in these games. But at the end of the day, as a collection, like, it's worth your money, at least. Because Sunshine is worth upwards of 120 plus, and even more if you get the Black Label game. Mario 64 is over $80 to $100 easily, especially if it's sealed. And then Mario Galaxy is a solid $40 to $60 game. Like, for $60, getting all three of these games emulated is not a bad deal. It's not. But there's clearly a game missing here. You got Mario 64, we got Mario Sunshine, and we got Mario Galaxy. And there's rumors for the last few weeks before the game's release that it could be Mario Galaxy as a bonus in-game that you have to unlock. And I'm just gonna let you know, that's definitely not the case. It was left out of the 3D Mario collection, which is really odd to say the least, because why not just have all four of them together? And the reason why is value. They want to make it so you understand the value of these games and what they're worth, and that's without them even working on them a lot. Yes, they did the HD textures, and yes, they fixed some of the writing in the menus for the new controls for like the Pro Controller and stuff, but like aside from that, they really didn't do much for these ports. They really didn't. But the games are still fun Mario games, no matter what. So that's one thing that at least is good. These are still amazingly fun 3D Mario games. Now, the final issue with this collection that it has is the retro yet very bleak and minimalist menu layout. It's just not as vibrant or memorable as the actual menu layouts for each of these games in their own respective intro menus. The Mario 64 intro menu, the Sunshine intro menu, to the Galaxy intro menu are all more vivid, more memorable, and definitely actually just overall more intuitive menus as a whole. And it's really odd. They really could have done a better job at this as well. And it overall feels like a half-assed collection, which kind of makes sense since this supposedly took less than 6 months. And they're supposed to be part of the 1.0 Japanese release builds. But overall, even if the collection may seem disappointing, the games really aren't. The games are still a lot of fun. It's still running around in these open worlds of Mario, collecting coins, stomping Goombas, kicking Bowser's ass. it's still a blast playing these games. And yes, I have all these games on the original hardware. Yes, I do. And do I still play them on the original hardware? Yeah, sure. But the good thing about this collection as well, which makes it worth it for the $60 for these 3 games, is that you can play these handheld mode anywhere you go. Now, yes, I did have some complaints about Galaxy, but playing Super Mario Sunshine or Mario 64 handheld mode were literally dreams I had growing up, and now it's a real thing. And overall, regardless of the handful of qualms that I have and issues that each of these games hold while they're the emulated versions, and despite what many of the haters have been saying, Mario Galaxy is still an amazing Mario epic to behold. Mario Sunshine is still an absolutely fantastic game despite what anyone may say about it still being polarizing, and Mario 64 is still an absolute blast to play and is still the main reason that I became a gamer today. And if you want to play these games in handheld mode on the go, and you want to experience your childhoods all over again, and or if you want to experience one of these classic platformers for your first time, this collection, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, is the way to go. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you all being here, and I thank you all so much for coming through. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash the like button. I really would appreciate it if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. It would help us out a lot. And don't forget to consider becoming a member today, either on YouTube and or Patreon. Your support on those platforms means so much and helps us out a lot to grow and continue doing the best that we can to get the best content out for you. And tons of extra perks and benefits as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope you come back for another episode, and I will see you all next time. Peace.
Understood. So why should I explain, bitch? Pockets on me, y'all going for it. But if you just asked me when I was living, I could give you something. But you never liked me, so you robbing me of my loving life. Now you ain't stopping me. But if I die, put me in a black casket. Crying for me, you fucking slacking. You'll never catch me fucking lacking. Y'all just acting. Black casket, black casket, black casket. Y'all will never catch me lacking. Y'all will never